So 10 years ago I collapsed for the first time at work, and that's sort of, from then it's sort of a before and after for me as far as life goes. I think before that life was pretty normal, and and I never expected at 33 that I was going to be sort of shot off to the side somewhere where I had no idea where I was going, a sort of bizarro world. There's been moments of uncertainty and fear, and even just trying to find a diagnosis. Each of those has sort of stood out to change me, to challenge me, to really make me have to rethink who I am and what I want in life as well, and what I'm willing to accept. I think admitting I was sick was really hard. I didn't feel like I was sick enough, which sounds really strange considering I'm in a wheelchair now and I've got a pacemaker and things. So trying to get my head past that and accept I was sick and that I was worthy of getting help for sickness was really hard as well. For me personally, one of the turning points was I saw a doctor who was just hideous. I sat down, he spoke to me for about 5 minutes and then said, well, you've got working women's syndrome, it's in your head, you're depressed, you're anxious, you need to just go away. And it's like, no, I'm passing out, and my heart was all over the place and I was profusely sweating all the time and my body was just going into a meltdown. And his attitude was it was all just a bit of hysteria, don't bother. That was one of the times where I just went, no, this isn't good enough, I can't continue like this. I'm narrowed down now to female physicians, and the doctor I saw, it was just a fluke. I knew someone at work who was seeing her for a similar condition. That was the only way I found her. And she did a huge long take of my history and everything and said, this is what you've got, but we need to do this test. But it's not in your head. We can do things for you. To have her say that was just, I could have leapt across the desk if I could have at that stage and given her a hug. I'm part of a support group for my diagnosis. Time and again, it's go have a baby, you need a boyfriend. Oh, if you got pregnant, it'll be okay. And, just over and over and over again, because you've got symptoms that aren't, you're not losing a limb in front of them, essentially. So you must be a hysterical female. And it's just so pervasive. It's strange. I had a picture of who I was before I got sick and where I was going and my place in the world and how everyone else saw me. And losing all that, it's like a massive life change happening overnight and you're just going, I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know who I am. I'm completely lost sight of what my life was going to be and who I was. Each of those little hits just keep coming and coming and coming. And each time you lose a little part of yourself and what you thought you were, and you just get to your feet and you think the ground's stable and it's gone again. And each of those times, it's trying to get myself back together again, to find that spot again, to work out my place, which has changed yet again. I've had a lot of negative self-talk over the years. You're always doubting that you're on the right path, and it takes a very long time to get to a point where I won't say any of those bad conversations I have with myself are gone, but they're minimised and put in their place. And I'm much better now at stopping them before they get really toxic. And that kind of thing, unless you halt it yourself, it's not going to change. Fashion has been my one saving grace of late. Last year, I'd had a really rough patch health-wise, and it was just either pyjamas or tracky jacks, and didn't brush my hair or nothing. It was just all too much. And I just looked in the mirror one day and just went, I just can't keep going like this. It's, clothing matching mood, and just feeding off each other. And also that perception of what a sick person looks like or a disabled person looks like. And so I started just daily, I'd get up, I might not shower, but I would get dressed. And I did that, and I think I made it to 17 days straight of getting up and getting dressed. And it was like, I can actually do this. I can do it, and it's changing how I feel about myself. Just simple stuff like I have to wear medical grade compression wear, and it's all granny wear everywhere you go. And I started finding places that do bright ones. And I was like, that's so exciting. To find devices, whether it's a walking stick or whatever, that's a little bit flash. And it just doesn't feel like another piece of hospital that you're carrying around, another piece of diseased body or broken body, or it's a bit of bling. And I know people think our household's a little bit strange sometimes. But there's a lot of, I suppose, what other people would think of useless bling, like I've got a chook shed that's got a disco ball in it, and I love that. And it's bright red, and all those little things that just make life so much better when you can't do so much of what you used to be able to do. And you can find so much joy in such small spaces, and so much joy even in your lounge room or in your bedroom or your backyard. And it's all those little bits add up. I used to write years ago, and then life sort of got in the way. And I started, and I haven't stopped in 7 years now. And it's sort of, for me, it's been, I always say it's like a therapist in a keyboard. I didn't think anyone would ever read anything that I wrote. I thought it'd just go out and, you know, maybe a family member would take pity or something. And then you start getting emails from people who've read what you've written or have watched you perform a piece. And it's so lovely to be able to have that connection with other people again. The one thing that is lacking in life in general, but in literature as well, is diverse voices. Like I'm a part of a lot of disability groups. There are people within those groups whose voices are still marginalised more than others. Minority groups within minority groups that aren't being represented. It's like there's all these stories not being told. These voices have a purpose and they should be heard. And we should do things to help them to be heard. To go somewhere and see your story told by someone else, or to read a book with that in, or see a television program with someone who's just like you is so incredibly... there's not really words for how it makes you feel inside when you see that finally there and other people recognising it as well. It's powerful. I wish I'd known earlier that I didn't have to give a crap about what people thought of me. Stuff it. Do what feels right for you and embrace it and be willing to support what your point of view is. A family member told me they never believed I'd be a lefty feminist. And it's like, yeah, I am, I don't care anymore. I don't want to wait for someone to tell me it's okay to do stuff all the time. It's just, life's too short. Do it. Go out, say your piece and own it. Like really own your words, own yourself. Own what that can do for other people. Not being afraid to experience other people and other people's perspectives and their lives, and understanding that people have a worth you may not understand when you first meet them, but they may have a little snippet of wisdom there that if you can toss aside prejudices, whether it's what the person looks like or how they speak or whatever it might be, if you can look past that, there are so many amazing people out there, and difference can be fantastic. I think I came to terms finally that it's not going to get better. It may get stable if I'm lucky, but it's not going to get better. And I'm much better with that now and what that means. And it's allowed me to sort of refocus what I want out of life and what brings me joy. And other people have asked me, where are you at now? And it's like, I don't know. Like I'm happy with who I am now, which is weird with everything so changed. But I'm probably happier now than I've ever been in myself. But I know that'll change, and that's okay, because nothing ever stays the same.